Many years ago, I saw this movie. I don't remember what it was. Maybe you'll remember. There was sword fighting in it, and one sword fighter shared his secret. He was the one who always won the sword fights, and he shared with somebody about how the secret was that he wasn't afraid to die. And that made a lot of sense to me at the time. I thought about it over the years from time to time because, if you're not afraid to die, and the other person is afraid to die, they're holding on to something precious to them, obviously, then you might be willing to do certain things that they wouldn't be willing to do. And that can give you an advantage. Same thing in business. If you are, willing to take certain risks or willing to take certain actions that other people are afraid to take because they're hanging on to some sense of security or whatever it might be, that gives you an advantage. And it made a lot of sense. And I came across the idea from an actual soldier. And he was saying, well, actually, those who are not afraid to die tend to die first. These are the ones who are most likely to die. Why? Because in his observation or his experience, those who are not afraid to die are more careless. They're not taking precautions. They're not planning as well as those who are not afraid to die. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I thought of this paradox. It's a paradox. It's a dichotomy. They're both true. And I think this is where in life it's not enough to just latch on to a simple idea. True life, real life, the real world is full of paradoxes like this. It's full of two things they're both true, and part of what you need to figure out through your own experience, as well as working with mentors and coaches and others who can speed that up for you, part of figuring out is like, okay, where is this one true and to what degree, and where is that one true and to what degree? And I was thinking about this the other day because a client of mine messaged me asking how he can access the Elegant Sales Conversation training that he's entitled to, because the next morning he was having a sales conversation, and we sent him access, reminded him how to access it, and but I also said to him, I said, look, it's tonight. Your meeting is tomorrow morning. Don't fret about this. Like the best thing you can do for this conversation at this point is not to try to suddenly master these skills overnight. It's not going to happen. Go into the conversation completely ready to not get the deal. Just be completely ready to not get the deal. So that removes all pressure on yourself of having to close the deal. At the same time, balance that with the genuine caring and desire that you have to help the person, whether they become a client or not. Because that's I think what the second perspective was saying. The soldier who is afraid to die and yet is willing to put his life on the line is somebody who cares enough about something, a cause, and really wants to stay alive, but is not attached to the outcome, so to speak. So that person is willing to do certain things or many things that others would be afraid to do. At the same time, he's not going to be reckless and careless. It's the same thing in business and sales, right? So you go into a sales conversation, I think the right mindset is that you have to be, 100% there. Zero neediness. Whether the person decides to go ahead and work with you or not, completely irrelevant. It's not your decision. It's not what you have to control. But you need to go into it still caring enough, because otherwise, if you don't care enough, you're not doing your job. You're not leading them anywhere, and surely that's going to come across as well. So in a sales conversation, the mindset matters a lot. The skill set matters a lot too. And the thing is that the only way to build the skills is to study the skills and then to practice them. But you got to practice them from the right mental space. And the right mental space, in my opinion, is that you have to not be afraid of not getting the business, and you have to genuinely care so that you really demonstrate leadership. And that's why, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, that's what I'm trying to say, is that they're winging it in the sales conversation, and mentally they're afraid of not getting the deal. And I put together some 3 free emails that we send out 3 days in a row. and it's called How to Never Again Wing It in the Sales Conversation, and you might find that helpful, completely free. You can get it at dovgordon.net/free sales, FREESALES. And that's just something that we did that a while back, but because of this story, I decided to get on here, share this with you, and remind you that it's a resource you can go and get. And it's really good stuff too. So go there, have a look, and if you like it, hit reply to any of those emails and tell me what it's helped you do. Dov Gordon, dovgordon.net/free sales.